ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम नमो नारायणाय। 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 ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम ध्यायामि चिन्मयानन्दं गुरुदेवं महामतिं प्रेमपूर्णं क्रियाशीलं सदा लोकहिते रतं कृपालुं सुन्दराकारं समर्थं सत्यदर्शिनं वाचा तत्त्वप्रकाशिन्या शोकमोहविनाशिनम्। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। हरि ओम, सुप्रभातम। As always, we will start with the Mangala Shlokaha. Om Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Yasya Dvirada Vaktradyah Parishadyah Parashatam Vignam Nignanti Satatam Vishwaksenam Tamashraye नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्तेः पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकतातं तपोनिधिम्। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। अविकाराय शुद्धाय नित्याय परमात्मने सदैकरूपरूपाय विष्णवे सर्वजिष्णवे यस्य स्मरणमात्रेण जन्म संसारबन्धनात् विमुच्यते नमस्तस्मै विष्णवे प्रभविष्णवे। ओम नमो विष्णवे प्रभविष्णवे। We are right now discussing on the six-fold virtues which constitutes Bhaga, and Bhagavan is the one who has all the six virtues in its completeness, not in abundance. I repeat what I had mentioned yesterday. It is not in abundance, but it is in its completeness. What are they? Jnanam, Vairagyam, Viryam, Yashas, Shrihi, and Aishwaryam, where we have already discussed the first four, and now we will take up the fifth one called Shrihi. Shrihi is entire wealth. Now, our understanding of wealth is only in terms of monetary properties and money as such. But here, everything is the wealth of Bhagavan. It is his creation. Therefore, when everything is his wealth, he himself is Shrihi. That is the understanding. Therefore, from our standpoint, whatever we have is his prasada, and nothing is ours. Why nothing is ours? Because today it has come, tomorrow it will go. Today it is there with me, tomorrow it will not be there with me. Today certain things may be functioning, tomorrow it will become non-functioning. Today people are there with me, tomorrow people will not be with me. Nothing is permanent. From the standpoint of a human being, agama apayinaha anityaha. Nothing is permanent. It has come, it will go. We have people who have lived even up to 105, 106 years. People who are there today who have crossed 100 years. Ask any of them. Ask them to show one item in this world. Only one item. Which is permanent and eternal. Nothing is permanent. What we see during our childhood is not available in our youth. What we see in our youth is not available in our middle age. And of course, so many things will not be available what we had earlier in our old age. It starts not only with the things around, it starts even with reference to our body. Our body is so fragile. Our body is so good at the childhood. Then it becomes strong in the youth. And then slowly what happens? That strength in my body slowly weakens. I may perform exercises. I may go to the gym. I may go to a yoga. I might do anything I want. It will remain healthy, but it will not have that Shakti. But whatever is there is entire wealth of Bhagavan. So, whatever we have is his prasada, and vidhivashat praptena santushyatam, says Acharya Shankara in Sadhana Panchakam. Whatever we have, be satisfied. Consider that as his prasada. Meaning what? Accept it as his will. He has decided this is what I have to have. Accept it. Don't long. Don't crave. Don't demand. Don't be desperate for acquiring, possessing, indulging, embracing, enjoying, etc. Don't be in it. Only work what we need to do is whatever we have, work efficiently, and at the same time work for the sake of others. That is the real wealth, the love and affection of people and Bhagavan. That is our true wealth. The material wealth is not at all our wealth. It will come, it will go. Therefore, whatever I can, I work for the sake of others. Paropakarartham idam shariram. This body is given to us for the sake of working for the others. That doesn't mean that I remain a bhikari and then I will give whatever I have, even food also I will give away. Those are all very idealistic. But if a time comes, then you have to do it. But what Shastra say, whatever is required, needed, not whatever is want. Want is a different thing. There is no end to it. But whatever is required for my day's living and for the sake of survival, have it. A little more comfort, accepted. And if I am a person who is working efficiently, who is earning in millions, then a little luxury is also in a way accepted. Protocols are there, accepted. But I want that, I want this also I want, that also I want, this I want. This craving is not acceptable because the want has no end. Whatever Bhagavan gives, accept. And even after he gives, even after we accept, still it belongs to Bhagavan only. We may say, I have purchased a house, it is my own house, this is my own vehicle. These are all in the transactional world, they can be used. Those statements can be used. But remember, nothing is ours. Everything belongs to Bhagavan only. And when it comes to this very important point, this is a little technical point. It requires a little more understanding that you will get as and when we proceed in our discussion. Bhagavan is the one because of whom laws exist, not LOSS, LAW. Every law in this world exists because of Bhagavan, and therefore Bhagavan is not subject to any kind of law. He is the law, because of whom all laws function. And those laws, Prakriti Dharma it is called, is under his control, and that again is his wealth. Our Shariram, Manaha, Buddhihi, all these also function according to his law. But out of our own ahankara, we think they are all mine, we think that this can be done, that can be done, and what we do, we go away from the Prakriti Dharma, and then we face lot of problems, lot of situations, lot of suffering. Why? Because we step out of the Prakriti Dharma. And these are very important. And remember, everything, including Prakriti Dharma, is Bhagavan's wealth, Shrihi. Then comes the sixth one, the last one, Aishwaryam. Aishwaryam normally we understand as wealth, but that has been discussed in the previous Shrihi, which is Aishwaryam, according to our understanding. But what is a true Aishwaryam? Aishwaryam means overlordship. What is overlordship? An ability to command. Like for example, anything that which is under our control is our Aishwaryam. That I own is my Aishwaryam. For example, I have a house. I have a own house. That is under my control. Isn't it? Then what do I call? This is my Aishwaryam. Aishwaryam is a technical word. This is mine. This is my wealth. Isn't it? So many people talk how much of wealth he has got, how much of wealth she has got. What does that mean? All that which is under my control is my Aishwaryam, on which I have a overlordship thing. And that which is out of our control, like for example, a neighbor's car. I don't have an ownership of that car. I might use the car occasionally whenever required, and he might be kind enough to say, please use the car. I may use the car, but I have no control in the sense I have no power overlordship over the car. I might use the car well. I might have driving control, but not the control of the car itself. Is it not? Therefore, those are not my Aishwaryam. Think. That which is under my control is my Aishwaryam. Now tell me what is under my control? Our own wife and children or husband are not under our control. Is it not? Our own body is not under our control. What to talk of the mind? Never under my control. Think. When that is the case, when we don't have our own body, mind and intellect under our control, what to talk of all these things and beings of the world? Therefore, we must very clearly understand, Aishwaryam overlordship is possible only from the highest standpoint. Bhagavan alone is the Lord of everything. We need to understand this. Our control is very, very limited, whereas Bhagavan has got the total control. It is like a CEO has got the whole control of the entire company, but a financial manager, he will have control only with reference to finance department. He will not have control over the administration department. He will not have control over the personnel department. He will not have control over the accounts department. He cannot have control over the security department. Why? His control is limited, financial control. Whereas the CEO of the company has got control of all the departments. Similarly, Bhagavan has got the control of the entire creation. In fact, he himself is the creation. Whereas all of us, our control are very, 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 very limited. In fact, to be very frank, we have no control of anything. Think. Therefore, he is the Lord and he has the complete control. Very beautifully Tulsidas ji writes in Tulsi Ramayana. Garala sudhari pukarai mitai, gopada sindhu anala sitalai, garuda sumeru renu samatai, Rama kripa kari chitavajai. Tulsidas ji writes, what cannot Ramchandra ji do? Rama kripa kari. If only Rama blesses, then what is not possible? And he says, Garala Sudha. Sudha means nectar. Garala means poison. Poison can turn into nectar. Think, if Bhagavan Ramchandra ji can bless us, if he blesses us, then poison also can turn into nectar. Ripu karai mitai. Ripu means enemy. And enemy can become a friend. In the Ramayana, especially with the Hanumanji's episodes, you will find all these happens. Surasa, Naga Devata, she became like nectar to Hanumanji. Ripu, Karai Mitai. Ripu is what? The enemy. Rakshasa Vamsha is the enemy of Asura Vamsha. Even in our case, to talk of our own part, we have two aspects of ourselves. One, Rakshasa, Asuri and good. Both we have got. We have got positive qualities and we have got negative qualities. Within us we have these two. Ramchandra says, Ripu Karai Mitai, enemy. Now the Rakshasa Vamsha, Vibhishanji became the friend of Hanumanji. Ripu Karai Mitai. Gopada Sindhu. Sindhu is the ocean. Ocean can also become a small puddle of water. With Ramchandraji's kripa, Hanumanji could cross over the sea Like as though you jump a puddle of water, he jumped over the sea. Remember, because of Ramchandraji's kripa. Anala Sitalai, his tail was burnt. But for him it never affected. It was very cool. And in fact, he enjoyed playing with that tail. I'm sure you would have seen the serial where Hanumanji wags his tail with fire. And in the process, he burns the whole Lanka and then he removes or puts off the tail in the sea itself. All these are possible. Garuda Sumeru Renu Samatai. Garuda Sumeru. Sumeru means that Parvata. And Parvata became like a small toy. All these are possible only if Bhagavan wills. Rama Kripa Kari. If Bhagavan's Kripa is there, anything is possible. Meaning, everything is under the control of Bhagavan. Bhagavan is capable of doing anything. In fact, we have seen so many movies. At least I have seen during my childhood. So many movies of, God's movies, spiritual movies, where the glory of Bhagavan is upheld. Like Devi's movies, I remember. Mookambika. Thai Moogambigai, like that. Tamil movies were there. Such movies are there everywhere. We see in our Kannada movies, we saw that, what is that? Kaviratna Kalidasa, where Devi comes and blesses that shepherd boy, very, very dull-wit, who became Kaviratna Kalidasa. These are all we see in the movies. And then we sometimes ridicule. We say, cinema, it can happen. In real life, it cannot happen. No. When we come to deserve such blessings, Bhagavan will bless. In fact, it is because of Bhagavan's blessings, this much we are all okay. Think. Therefore, Bhagavan alone is the overlord of the entire universe, and therefore, Aishwaryam. Now see, all these six, Jnanam, Vairagyam, Viryam, Yashas, Shrihi and Aishwaryam. Bhagavan is the overlord of all of them. Therefore, all these six put together is called Bhaga, and therefore, the one who has all of these virtues in abundance, Allah, in completeness, not in abundance, he is called Bhagavan. Bhagavan. Like how we gave the example, Dhanavan, Dhairyavan, Shraddhavan. Similarly, Bhagavan. And very important, I repeat it again so that we get this very clearly. Bhalavan, Dhairyavan, Shraddhavan are those virtues which we have in abundance. Whereas Bhagavan is that who has incompleteness. When we remember that Bhagavan, now look at the shloka, Yasya Smarana Matrena Samsara Bandhanat Janmaha Vimuchyate. Jantuhu Vimuchyate. Jivaha Vimuchyate. One definitely will get liberation. How? Just by remembering? Hope you remember on the first day I said, remembrance is only remembering Bhagavan is one meaning. Bhagavan's remembrance alone can give us liberation. All other remembrance, they might probably give the overlordship of certain materials or people for a few period, but they are not permanent. Right? Bhagavan's remembrance alone can give us that ultimate purpose of human life. What is the purpose of human life? Liberation, freedom from bondage. And Smaranam is one among the Navavida Bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnoho, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. Very interestingly, Smaranam includes all of them. If you actually analyze all of them, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, all these can happen only when there is remembrance of Lord. Without remembering the Lord, none of them is possible. Therefore, Smaranam actually tops the list as though. And we have three very interesting words. One is Vishnave, Sarva Jishnave, and Prabha Vishnave. Vishnave, the all-pervading Lord. Veveshti iti Vishnuhu. Vishnuhu. Sarva Jishnave, the powerful Lord. Jishnuhu means Jayapradaha. The word is Jayapradaha. Jayapradaha, the one who can bless us with Jayam. What is Jayam? Success in any field of activity, secular or sacred. The success is provided only by Bhagavan. We must come to deserve the success. How? By our commitment, by our Shraddha, by our applying ourselves in that field. Sharira, Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ankara, all of them must integrate, and when we channelize our attention, then Bhagavan will definitely give us Jayam. Jayapradaha, Jishnuhu. Prabha Vishnuhu, he is the ultimate Lord. Prabhuhu. So, we saw these three words in the shlokas. To that, Bhagavan salutations. I surrender. Tasmai namaha. Yasya smarana matrena samsara bandhana janma vimuchyate. Tasmai namaha. Om namo Vishnave Prabha Vishnave. Now this sentence, why does it come in between? It only indicates the logical conclusion of that particular thought. And madhye, we must keep remembering that we have to surrender at the feet of the Lord. Om Namo Vishnave, Prabha Vishnave. Then, this is one very beautiful shloka which I have added. Because our intellect keeps questioning. Swamiji, is Vishnu alone God? If Vishnu is God, what about the other gods? Vishnu is one representation. Now see this. Tulsidas ji writes, Aguna saguna dui brahma sarupa akhata agadha nadi anupa मोरे मत बड़ नाम दुहूते किए जही जुग निज बस निज बूते. He says, Aguna, Saguna, Dui. Dui means both. Please note the Bhasha is Audhi Bhasha of the north. It is not Hindi, it is dialect of Hindi. Aguna, Saguna, Dui, Brahma Swarupa. Both are, Dui means both, are Brahma Swarupa alone. What is that? Aguna. Aguna is the formless God. Or Saguna. Or and Saguna. The God which is described with a form. Aguna, Saguna, Dui, Brahma Swarupa. Akatha. What is Akatha? That which is inexplicable. Agadha. In fact, it is ununderstandable. How do we say ununderstandable? From the standpoint of human mind and intellect. Our human mind and intellect are so limited, so small. And with this mind and with this intellect, to understand Bhagavan is very impossible. It is something like you take one Uddharani and try to take the water from that whole Panchapatra. How is it possible? Uddharani can pick only that much of water. Similarly, mind and intellect can only take that much of knowledge. Therefore, Bhagavan is inexplicable. Therefore, Bhagavan is ununderstandable. Anadi, he is beginningless. He is not within time frame. Anupa, he is unparalleled. Now see, all these clearly indicates Bhagavan is beyond the concept of time and space. Therefore, more mata. What is my opinion? Tulsidasi says, according to my understanding, duhunte, between the two, namu bada. Nama is the greatest of all. That is why again and again we chant, Nama smaranat anya upayam nahi pashyamo bhavatarane. Therefore, Sahasranama, so many names is taken only to keep the mind intact with Bhagavan. And Nama, Kiyejahi Juga Nija Basa Nija Bhute. Nama has taken both Aguna and Saguna both under its control. Meaning what? Nama supersedes both of them. Therefore, take Nama as very, very, very important sadhana. Don't underestimate Nama Smaranam. Right? That is what Tulsidasi says. Whether it is, don't fight between, don't keep deliberating between formless God is correct or form God with form is correct. God with form means he is limited. No. It is a representation. Why? Our mind cannot understand formless God. Our mind cannot understand a Bhagavan without Nama. Well, our mind is very limited. And if the mind already taking the name of the Lord is a big difficult task for all of us. Why? No time, Swamiji. I keep telling this example. Earlier days, we had one whole room for Bhagavan. Now Bhagavan has been cornered in the kitchen itself. And in some cases one stand, and in some cases inside dabba. Why? Accommodation problem. We have time for everything in the world. We have no time for Bhagavan. Who has given us the time? Think. Therefore, we need to very clearly understand Bhagavan is the ultimate. And our purpose is to reach him alone. In the process, for the sake of survival, we need to take up some job. But that is not everything. Bhagavan is the ultimate. Therefore, to gain that purpose of life, Namasmarana is the best method to prepare ourselves. Jnana yogyata siddhyartam namasmaranam, which is beyond the so-called concepts of formless or form. Once we cross that, there is no two. There is only one. Ekameva advitiyam Brahma. Having said that, now Acharya Shankara, when he starts his Vyakhyana on Vishnu Sahasranamam, he also contributes 3 shlokas as Mangala shloka. Immediately the question comes, Swamiji, why so many Mangala shlokas? One Mangala shloka is acceptable. So many Mangala shlokas, very, very important for the mind to focus on Bhagavan. The importance of invocation, even in some programs what we conduct, we have one invocation at the beginning. In fact, incidentally, that importance towards invocation is not given. What to do? I have to do. Therefore, one invocation. So, bring somebody, give them the mic. 2 minutes enough. 3 minutes enough. Invocation. Why? Program. Our focus is on program. Invocation, one small song you sing, then prarthana is over. Think. Why is it so? Because we have not understood the depth, the meaning, the importance, the validity of prarthana. invocation. Now see, Prarthana is for what? First point, it is prayer. It is prayer, taking the blessings of the Lord. Second thing, it is our sampradaya. It is our tradition. It is our custom. This is how we have been instructed from time immemorial, from the Rishi culture onwards. We have been instructed what? Take the blessings of the Lord. Take the blessings of all the elders. Even children before going to examination probably, at least then, what? Do namaskaram to parents. Take their blessings. Even to bless, one should deserve to bless also. I keep telling this often. When the son comes and he does namaskaram, occasionally, rarely, because these days that culture is not there. To go and do namaskaram to parents every day in the morning and every day in the evening, if you do, it's very important actually. One has to do namaskaram and then take up the rest of the day's work. But daily, those culture itself is gone. Thanks to parents, the irresponsible parents. If the parents had insisted the children to do it daily, right from their childhood, the child will definitely do it. Why? They go under norms. The parents, they also don't care. It is such a great important culture which we had, that we have to bow down to the parents every day, morning and evening. One must do. Why? A mind that bows down to the feet of the parents will never stand against the parents. That is a culture. Today, it becomes fashion. In public, I will not do. Think. It is a culture, a tradition, such a beautiful thing. Every aspect of our culture is extremely important. And it is time-tested. It is time-tested. A mind that surrenders at the feet of the Lord before starting anything, which is our sampradaya, such a mind will not develop ego. And tasya vina trinamapi na chalati. Without his permission, nothing can happen. Therefore, by invoking Bhagavan's blessings, we are seeking his permission for conducting the program, so that no disturbance can take place. Prayer is a humble submission. What is that submission? It is like giving an application to Bhagavan. Bhagavan, we are starting this program. I place that program at your feet. Kindly bless the program so that it helps the person who conducts and the person who are in the audience. Let both of us be benefited. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Mantra. Saha now avatu. May he protect all of us. There is no personal direct, only, individual selfish prarthana was never there earlier. Saha now reference naha, all of us. Avatu, protect, may he protect all of us. Sahanau bhunaktu, with the blessings of the Lord, whatever we achieve as the fruits of our action, bhunaktu, may we all enjoy together. Saha viryam karavavahai, may he give us that viryata, that power, that ability to function efficiently and achieve the goal. Tejasvinau adhitamastu. Tejasvinah meaning what? May I become brilliant, may my brilliance improve. Why should it improve? Not to show off that I am brilliant, not to show off that I am intelligent, not to show off that I am better than the other person. No, when the brilliance increases, I understand the truth within that. I understand the presence of Bhagavan in everybody. Ma vidvishabhai. May we not get into misunderstanding. Let there not be any conflict. May the mind be appreciative of all. What is the brilliance here? Brilliance is understanding the limitations of myself and everybody. Appreciate the capacity what I have and the same in all of them, and together. This togetherness is the prarthana. Teamwork. In our modern language it is called teamwork. Think. Tejasvinau adhitamastu ma vidvishabhai. Meaning, let there not be misunderstanding, let my mind understand. This is prayer. Think. Acceptance of a supreme power, meaning I don't claim ownership of everything, I remain as a tool, as an instrument at his hands. I remain like the flute. What is a flute? A flute is an empty pipe with lot of holes in it. Think, we are empty without him. And we have so many holes in our life. Think. But if the same empty life with so much of holes is surrendered at the feet of the Lord, he brings out the best music. Think. Therefore, accept his supremacy and invoking a higher power. Very, very important. Now see, I'll give you a very simple example of a computer. A computer has got its limitation. Think. A computer has its own limitation. It may be a supercomputer. Still it has limitations. And an individual who, like us, who we have a small version of a computer, it has certain RAM space, it has got certain memory space. All these are very limited. But when I connect the same computer to a higher power called internet, that gamut of knowledge cannot be brought into my computer without that connection. Think. Whatever we want today, immediately you check up Google Ananda Saraswati. Our Acharya used to tell. Google Ananda Saraswati. You Google anything, you get information. All those information, whatever you want, cannot be stored in my computer. What do? We extend. We store it in one pen drive. We store it in one CD, DVD drive earlier days. Now hard disks. And now cloud. Is it not? How much, even if you have to store in the cloud space, it is limited. Think. So when I connect myself to the highest power, look at the amount of ability, look at the amount of gamut of knowledge we will get. Therefore, to the highest power, I connect through prarthana. Think. And for what? Successful completion. And after the completion, an intelligent mind will say, everything happens because of his grace. There was a beautiful interview by Dr. Devi Shetty, very popular doctor, we all know. There he says, we only treat the patients, he cures. Think. We only treat the patient with medical support, but the curing has to be done by him. And therefore, prarthana is very important. And when we are successful in our activities, we find immediately our mind develops tremendous ego. I did it. That I should go. And for that, prarthana is very, very important. And now, the next 3 shlokas we will see tomorrow. The 3 Mangala shlokas which Acharya Shankara has written, and then he enters into the actual gate. It is not the hall again. He enters the gate of Vishnu Sahasranama. We will continue tomorrow. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.